wisdom. So when God is telling you do A and do B, and you're still contemplating, should I not, or I'm trying to be wise in my own ways, trust you me, the wisdom of God never sounds wise to man. It is foolishness to carnality. That is why you see that you don't have any money on you, and God is telling you, you have, for example, maybe you just have little just to survive a few days, and God says take all of that and give it. And you're like, is that even wise? If you're talking to some people, they'll be like, that's not a wise move to make. But that's where it comes in. You are not supposed to look wise. The wisdom of God never sounds wise at all when you're trading with it. But you realize that when you obey, then fruitfulness comes through. You realize you have, somebody just comes around and blesses you. Why? Because you followed the wisdom of God. Think about this. God hid the whole concept of man being saved in preaching and believing, and says by this you can be saved if your heart just believes. If you just preach to somebody, just preach to them, and if they believe it and they're convicted, and in their heart they believe unto righteousness and they confess it, salvation has happened. How do you explain that? That you were once condemned, and by just believing words that have been preached, you become saved and confessing the Lordship of Jesus. It looks like a very cheap method, almost very foolish method, but that is where the wisdom of God is hidden. That is where the wisdom of God is hidden. So when God is giving you instructions, take heed of those instructions without a second guess. Why? Because this is what I tell God. I say, Lord, or let me even say, this is how I understand the wisdom of God. The wisdom of God has literally traveled throughout the span of time. And so when God is giving you instruction today, his wisdom has traveled through eternity. It has traveled through today. It has traveled through your past. It has traveled through your tomorrow, and giving you instruction at this now moment. And you're still negotiating. Should I obey it or not? Should I obey it or not? Meanwhile, you are delaying your own destiny because you are still trying to make sense of what the wisdom of God is. But you know what Romans 11 verse 33 says? It says, all the depth of the wisdom and the knowledge of God. How unsearchable it is. It is unsearchable. It is deep. How the depth of the riches of the wisdom and the knowledge of God. It is too deep. It is too deep. You can't comprehend it with your human mind. It is something that can be understood by your spirit. But even so, you obeyed without a second thought, because